continue to track Hurricane Helene, and right now we want to go to Rachel Whalen. She's live in Cape Coral speaking with the fire chief about conditions in the Cape.
Hi, guys. Yes, this is Ryan Lamb. He's also the Emergency Management Director here at Cape Coral. We're outside the EOC right now. We're getting some gusts of winds right now, too. Just tell me, what are you guys monitoring right now, keeping an eye on?
So we're continuing to watch the wind speeds and the surge coming into Cape Coral right now. So early this morning, we did have some isolated damage to some homes, and so we were able to go out and quickly respond to that and help those residents. We're also able to see some street level flooding, and so able to get those storm grates blocked. And so if anybody out in our community does have an emergency, we're encouraging them to call 911, or anything that's not an emergency, they can dial 311 to report that to us. We have our city crews here on standby. Quickly can go out and take care of those emergencies and non-emergencies in our community.
Mm-hmm. And what does that look like when you all responded to that home with the roof issues today?
So wanted to make sure that it's a safe structure. We had our building official out there to make sure it's structurally sound and that it can get repaired properly. As far as the roadway being blocked, we saw a blocked drain, so we were able to get that cleared quickly so it's safe for our vehicles to pass. And as we go through tonight, we know that we're still going to experience some of the impacts of this storm, so I want to encourage folks to continue to be safe, especially while driving out in our community.
Yeah, can we talk about that a little bit? I know that, people might be out and about tonight. What are the kinds of things that they should be alert to?
So we're going to still see some of the tails of these bands coming through our community. So might see some increase in rain, continue to see some of this wind, and hopefully that surge continues to come down. But definitely you might see some debris in a roadway, and you might have some standing water as that surge begins to come down and that rain goes away. So hopefully will subside here quickly.
And what advice do you have to drivers who, do decide to drive in this?
Well, if you're able to, stay home is a great advice. But if you're going to go out, please drive slow, be cautious, and make sure you've got well aware of your surroundings, have your headlights on, and that way you can see any of that debris or standing water in front of you.
Mm-hmm. And I know, flooding is always a concern here in Cape Coral. Tell me how you guys are prepared for that.
So luckily we didn't experience much of the way rainfall today, but we did drop our weirs and pull grates and those other things, and we're actively out going with our crews to clear any of the blockages that we see in that system.
Mm-hmm. Anything else that's going on inside the Emergency Operations Center?
So we have about 50 staff here working just in the Emergency Operations Center. Of course, our police, fire, public works crews, utilities crews out doing those essential functions here for the city. We're grateful that we didn't have a big impact to our city today, and we're going to continue to watch and monitor as this storm passes us by.
And just one more time, people who, might find themselves in trouble, what should they do?
So if they have an emergency, please dial 911, and we'll have police, fire, and those crews come out and take care of that. If you have something that's a non-emergency, please dial 311, and that gets into our City Information Center. We have public works and utility crews standing by, really ready to go out and take care of those issues.
And what are the kinds of things that people could call you guys about or be on the lookout for?
So that's everything from a traffic signal that might be flashing to a blocked storm grate, all of those things, traffic signal or sign missing. We've got crews ready, staged, and can respond within moments' notice to go out and take care of those things.
Okay, thank you so much, Chief. Appreciate it. I'm going to send it back over to you guys, but for now, I am reporting in Cape Coral at the EOC, Rachel Whalen, NBC2.
So our Rachel Whalen is in the Cape right now to assess the situation there.
Yes, I'm in southeast Cape Coral, just about 800 feet from the Midpoint Bridge. And okay, so here's the context. The guy's home is right here. The water is right here, okay? And it's really gone up about a foot since my photographer and I got here about an hour and a half ago. The man who lives here, his name is Craig. He told me this is the worst he's ever seen the storm surge here. Aside from Ian, he was not here during Ian, he left. But this is the worst that he's ever seen, and he's lived here for a long time. And honestly, he was expecting some storm surge, but not this much. I'm not sure how well you can see out here in front of us, but pretty much every dock on his side of the street here, this is Southeast 28th Street, is covered. The water's all the way up to the docks, covering the docks. They're underwater. There's a boat over there that's still okay because it was a couple feet above the docks, but all of these docks are pretty much underwater. And this is an area that did get a lot of flooding and damage during Ian. I mean, people here are still recovering from that, replacing things. The man who lives here told me that he's still getting his roof replaced So people are still going through things here, and now they got to deal with this mess. Again, the man who lives here says this is the worst he's seen it, aside from Ian, but he wasn't here. And just, it hasn't been, he hasn't seen it this bad in storms that we've had recently. And yeah, it's almost all the way up to our, all the way up to his lanai here, and he is really, really concerned about that. Again, Southeast Cape Coral, about 800 feet from the Midpoint Bridge. We're going to continue to monitor these conditions for you all throughout the night. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys. I'm Rachel Whalen.
Monica, you've been out in the Cape since earlier today, around noon, and you've seen that water coming up. And I know people with all the canals there are very nervous, and the streets are a mess.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, what's really struck me is that we haven't gotten like a ton of rainfall here. This is all just from the storm surge, right? From those canals. So we are on Cape Coral Parkway and Palm Tree Boulevard right now, where you can see this intersection is pretty much, you know, all flooded. If you take a look at my feet, I mean, the water here on the sidewalk is past my feet. If I were to get in the middle of the intersection, it's even deeper. We're going to walk down here so we can show you guys, because once you get away from the main road and into the neighborhoods, it's even worse. So we haven't actually been back here yet to see. I mean, yeah, it's getting deeper and deeper. I'm not sure if this is actually up to people's homes at some point, but we're going to go down there and check it out and, you know, continue to monitor and drive around and see how high this is getting. But my photographer and I drove all up and down Cape Coral Parkway, and we saw flooding at basically every intersection starting at Chiquita. So this goes down quite a ways. And as you can see, too, there's still a lot of people out and about driving through it, like these guys that want to be on TV, which really we don't recommend because of things like that. And, you know, it's just not safe. And you don't know what's in these waters. We don't recommend, you know, going in them or driving in them. They can flood your car. But this is everywhere right now. This is all up and down Cape Coral Parkway. All of the intersections up here to Chiquita are like this. So we're going to keep, you know, monitoring these conditions for you and check out these neighborhoods. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys. Rachel Whalen.
Rachel Whalen, she continues our team coverage in the Southeast Cape. Rachel, the big question tonight, is it rising or falling or staying the same?
It's rising. I mean, if you remember just an hour ago, I was standing on the sidewalk here. The water was only, you know, just past my feet, but it has risen a lot. We're now all the way out here to the 7-Eleven parking lot, and the water has moved up here. Even just the middle of the intersection, you know, it's still, actually, I can't tell. No, it's not dry. It's completely covered. We see actually I believe that's an emergency crew from the city responding to this in that truck right there. We've actually seen a lot of ambulances, or not a lot, we've seen a couple of ambulances and fire trucks and police cars drive by as well. You know, you really just don't want to be driving in this. It doesn't take much to really stall a car. We've seen it happen time and time again here in Cape Coral. Even when it's not a hurricane, people get their cars stalled out. I mean, just look at all that. Look at all that water that guy just pushed through this intersection here. There's just so much water here, and it actually goes all the way down here in Cape Coral Parkway. We started driving down here from Chiquita and saw the roads flooded at basically every intersection we pass, which is, you know, a good number of blocks. So this goes on for quite a while on Cape Coral Parkway. I spoke with Cape Coral Fire Chief Ryan Lamb about this issue earlier today. He said that they were going to monitor this all day, all night. That's why we're seeing this crew pass by right here. He said that there would be storm water crews ready and available to, you know, clear up the drains here and help people. But really don't recommend you drive in this. Definitely be careful in Southeast Cape in general. Looking over here, we see the water into people's neighborhoods as well. but we will continue to be out here and monitor these conditions for you. For now, I'm reporting in Southeast Cape Coral. Rachel Whalen, back to you.
Go to Cape Coral right now. Rachel Whalen has been there all evening. She's in Southeast Cape Coral. Rachel, ask you the same thing we're asking everybody else. Is the water staying the same, going down, going up?
No, it is still rising. Just take a look. When I first got here around 9 o'clock, the water was up to the sidewalk here at the corner of Cape Coral Parkway and Palm Tree Boulevard. Now it is well almost to the gas pumps at the 7-Eleven gas station. I mean, it just keeps going up and up. Some people who work here, they've just been waiting it out. They want to go home, but they're not sure that they can, so they've been waiting it out. We see a car over here. I'm not sure if they got stuck or if they're just waiting this out. We've seen a couple cars get towed already, leaving this area on a tow truck. I mean, even the big trucks are struggling to get through this street at this point. That's how much the water has risen here just in a short amount of time. And really, just what keeps getting me is that there really hasn't been that much rain here. This is all just storm surge from those canals. We talked with a man earlier today in Southwest Cape Coral who his canal was rising well above his seawall and almost to his lanai. So flooding here is going to be a real problem tonight. We're going to continue to monitor it. We'll see how we get out of here. But I will send it back to you guys now. For now, I'm reporting in Southwest Cape Coral, Rachel Whalen.